Hello, I am Jalon Strong, realtor and owner of Dreams to Keys Realty. Welcome to the YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are notified every single time I post a video here on the channel. Also, click throughout the channel so that you can get to our links because we have links for other other social media pages. So make sure that you find the beacons.ai/Jalon Strong link and get to those social media channels as well. So you can find me on YouTube here, of course, and then TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Not to prolong any further, let's get right into the topic. And you've seen the disclaimer prior to my video showing, so just make sure that you keep those things in mind. So we're going to talk about the three reasons a buyer should buy a home now. A home buyer, if you're thinking about buying a home anytime in the future, if you are looking to add home ownership to your goal list, something that you want to check off for whatever your reasons are. And you can see previous videos about the benefits of home ownership that I discussed, but definitely want to talk about why you should buy a home now if you're thinking about home ownership. And there are so many stigmas and so many things out there about buying a home now. So I just wanted to make sure that you're aware that if you wait, there could be some drawbacks that you would probably look back on this current time and say, I should have bought a home then. So we don't like shoulda, coulda, woulda. So let's get right into the three reasons you should buy a home now. Reason number one, interest rates can be refinanced, but purchase prices cannot. So a lot of people are very frustrated with the interest rates going up. Currently, interest rates are at about 8%. And there were people that were frustrated with the 7%. So there are many people that say, I want to buy a home, but I want to wait till the interest rates drop. So one thing that you should keep in mind if you're saying that or thinking that is the interest rates and the home prices kind of work in an inverse relationship conventionally. Most of the time you see them kind of work at an inverse relationship. So if the interest rates are going up, that means the housing prices typically are lower. So when the interest rates go down, then the housing prices typically rise. So you may think that 8% is too much of an interest rate. And I'm not going to argue with you about what's too much for you. But if you wait till it gets back to that 2% interest rate, then the price for the house may be well out of your league. So you could be pricing yourself out of a house that you can afford right now based on the purchase price, and then you may not have that option later on once the interest rates drop down. So keep that in mind. I know interest rates are something that we would like to be lower, but you have other options that you can talk with your lender about, such as refinancing. You can refinance the interest rate, but you can't refinance the purchase price. The price is the price. So keep that in mind if you're considering interest rates being a huge factor in whether or not you buy a home or determining when you buy the home. Because if that's your only drawback, this should give you some inclination that you could buy a home now instead of waiting. All right, so that's the reason number one. Reason number two is communities are changing to rental properties or rental homes. So you've heard a lot of conversation possibly in the social media platforms or across the news stations that there's not a lot of houses on the market. And the thing about that is, it's not that they're not building homes, they're not building properties, but many of the properties that we would typically see for sale are for lease. So it's not that properties are not going up, it's that the trend is going toward rental properties. So most of the time you're seeing builders go build apartment complexes, or if they are building homes, they'll build them and then they'll post the sign or put up the sign that says for rent or for lease. And so that could be a drawback, because if you're someone that's in that community and you say, I really would like that type of house, I want a new construction or what have you, You may have had the anticipation of buying one of those homes, and to see that it's for lease could prevent you or prolong your home ownership journey. So think about what you're seeing in the community, think about what's being put out there in the news, and then think about what that means over time if that continues. So if homes are being built, but they're being built for rent, then or for lease, then if your desire is to be a homeowner, that means over time you would have to consider other options until you get to the point of home ownership. And we've heard a lot about 2008 in the past and how the market crashed back then. And we talked about how many homes are on the market and all those things. And we've seen in some of the data that the 2023 year has shown that we haven't crossed a threshold for houses for sale or on the market that we would typically cross well over in previous years. And I'll talk about that in another video or on a live. So make sure, like I said, that you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and follow the other social media channels as well. So that's another thing. Be aware of what you see and be aware of what the trend could mean for you if you prolong your decision to own a home. The third reason why you should consider buying a home now is because homes create stability. When you rent from someone else, when you're a tenant of someone else, there's so many other things that come at the whim or decisions of that owner that you may not have control over. You may not have control over when they decide that they want to check out certain things in the property, and it may be an inconvenience to you for them to come and do that. You may not have the quietness you want when you're ready to study if you're in school, or if you have children that are in school, and you may have neighbors that are very loud and it prevents the conducive studying environment for you or your children. You're at the whim of the homeowner, and the homeowner or the landlord doesn't necessarily have all the things you care about in mind. They're concerned about the property not being vacant and not incurring all of these vacancy expenses that you would cover as a tenant when you're living in there and paying that rent. So they have different aspirations and goals as landlords than you have as a tenant or a future home buyer. So there's so many things that come into play that just make it more stable, in my opinion, to have a home, because home ownership affords you to have your place, your space, and you have the autonomy to make decisions about who comes and goes, how long they're there. You make more decisions about your peace and your space. And for me, that is a great benefit. The privacy, the stability that you have as a homeowner, of just saying, this is my space. I will allow, whom I deem important or what I deem important in this space, and I will keep it up versus waiting on someone else to try to keep it up. And maybe I don't like how they keep it up. So there's so many caveats where you're at the whim of your landlord when you're a tenant and you're renting their property, and not all landlords are great landlords. So you take a chance anyway when you are a tenant, especially if you're coming into a new space, of learning that landlord and learning whether or not they're great at being a landlord. And it's on you as a tenant to know all the rules and what they can and cannot do as your landlord, and what your rights are as a tenant, so that you're not taken advantage of as well. So if something breaks down in your home, you know it's on you to coordinate the fixing of it, and you can call your warranty company and whomever is needed to get something remedied. If you're a tenant, you need to call your landlord, right? And then you're at the whim of the landlord to see when all of this will be done. And sometimes we've seen cases where, like, for instance, it was a case on the news where there was a tenant who complained about a leak, and it looked like it was from the sewer from an apartment above her, and it had been going on and on and on for some time. And it seemed like they were patching it. They were just patching the work. They weren't dealing with the actual sewage leak issue. and she kept having to throw away things in her kitchen because it was leaking in her kitchen, and she felt like she was becoming sick. So it was so many things that you're at the whim of your landlord for when you're in a lease. And when you're a homeowner, you have more leeway and autonomy in that process. You still have the responsibility, but at least you know, hey, it's important to me that this gets done, it gets done right. So you're on top of it, making sure that it's done. Whereas someone else who really doesn't live in that space, and they may just be doing the maintenance or hiring someone to do the maintenance of that space, may not have as much concern as you would if it were your space as a homeowner. All right, so those are the three reasons. Reason number one, interest rates can be refinanced, but purchase prices cannot. So if that's your reason, reconsider. Number two, communities are changing to rental properties. So we're seeing more rental properties being built than homes for sale. And three, homes create stability. So it depends on what you're looking for and how you're looking for it to show up in your life, but you create your own autonomous environment where you get to decide who comes in, who goes out, and how to keep it up in a way that, still allows you to live and allows you to have that peace and privacy that home ownership provides. So I hope that was informative, a little quick session. For those of you who aren't sure if now is a good time to buy, you've heard things on the media, and I just want to make sure that I do my due diligence to tell you that everything that you see, everything that you hear has a place. And it's important that you put those things in its proper place so that you make important and vital decisions for you and your family moving forward. And if you don't do the things that you need to do now, at least get the process going. If you can't buy a house this very second, this very minute, but you know you want to be a homeowner, make sure that you start the process. Make sure that you talk to people. Make sure that you're not doing things off of Google, but that you're speaking to real estate experts. You speak to a realtor such as myself. You speak to lenders, get at least 3 loan estimates before deciding. And then also get informed about the area that you want to live in. What does it mean to live in that area? Is there a particular neighborhood? Is there a particular school you want to live by? All the different things that would matter to you and also to a potential seller in the future if you decide to sell your home. So there's so many things that we could talk about. If you have specific things that you would like to see on this channel, specific topics, make sure that you leave those in the comments. And as always, like, follow, subscribe, and share. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Follow us on other social media platforms such as YouTube here, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and as well as click that link in the bio that says beacons.ai /JaLon Strong so you can get to all those social media links. This is just a quick video for now, but make sure that you follow us for more info and check us out because we go live from time to time. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.